Good day, everyone. My task for today is to discuss to you rights of students. So, first and foremost, we'll have the conceptual definition of student. According to the Education Act of 1982, students refer to persons who are regularly enrolled in or engaged in formal education studies and attend classes at the secondary or higher education levels in an educational institution. Now, we will discuss one by one your rights being a student. So first is you have the right to receive primarily through competent instruction, relevant quality education in line with national goals and conducive to your full development as persons with human dignity. In other words, you have the right to enroll in any school and to receive quality education for you to be for your development as persons with human dignity. The second right is the right to freely choose a field of study based on existing school curricula and to continue therein until you shall have graduated from your courses, except in case of academic deficiency or violation of disciplinary rules and regulations. This means, therefore, that being a student, you have the right to choose your own course based on the curricula of your school and for you to continue your course until you shall have graduated, except of course if you commit a violation of disciplinary rules and regulations from the school you are enrolled. Okay? The third right is the right to avail of school guidance and counseling services towards making decisions and in selecting alternative fields of schoolwork suited to your potential. So if you can remember or if you observe, every school has its own guidance and counseling services, the purpose of which is for you to help you make decisions specifically in selecting your courses. Okay. For some high school or for some high schools, their guidance counselors offer services in terms of helping these students to make their decisions depending upon their capability and ability as a student. The fourth right is the right to have access to your own school record, which shall be maintained and preserved in a confidential manner by the school. So this means, therefore, that you can ask questions from your professors or from your instructors regarding your grades or your records, and these records or grades are always to be preserved in a confidential manner, meaning nobody should ask the record of Juan or Juana if you are not the Juan or Juana. So you only have the right, the school should always maintain confidentiality in terms of providing or accessing the records of the students. Okay, fifth right is the right to expeditious action not exceeding 30 days from receipt by the school to the issuance of official school certificates, diplomas, transcripts of records, grades, transfer credentials, and similar school documents or records. So this means that when you apply for school certificates or diplomas or transcript of record, you are given 30 days or the document should be given to you before 30 days. Okay? So, dapat hindi siya mag-exceed ng 30 days na pag-aantay. Okay, before you receive your request from the school. Okay? Sixth right is the right to publish a school newspaper and similar publications, to invite resource persons during your assemblies, symposia, and other activities of similar nature. That's why if you have student activities in your organizations, sometimes you invite experts, you invite speakers from your field in order to discuss a particular issue. So that is one of your rights. Also, you have your school newspaper, and that is also your right to publish your article, your journal in your school newspaper. Seventh is the right to have free expression of opinions and suggestions, and to avail of effective channels of communication with the appropriate academic and administrative bodies of the school. That's why every semester you have your day with the dean, day with the president, or you have your meetings with your co-organizations or members of the organizations for you to air your grievances, or for you to give some suggestions, for instance, for the further improvement of the services of the school. Okay? Number 8 is the right to form, establish, join, and participate in organizations and societies recognized by the school to foster your intellectual, cultural, spiritual, and physical growth and development, or to form, establish, join, and maintain organizations or society for purposes not contrary to law. So you have your school organizations, you have your interest clubs where you can join and participate. You have your academic organizations. Every course has its own academic organizations, like for instance, the PLSS and other organizations that will foster your cultural, intellectual, spiritual, and physical growth and development. If you can observe in our school, associations such as fraternities and sororities are not recognized by our school. So please refrain from joining such organizations that are not recognized by the school. Number 9 is the right to be free from involuntary contributions except those approved by your own organizations or societies. Actually, every contribution naman is actually approved by your own organizations. If these contributions did not pass through the approval of your organizations, you have the right not to contribute. Okay? Now, if you have some rights, you also have duties and responsibilities. One of your duties is to exert your utmost in the development of your potentialities for service, particularly by undergoing an education suited to your abilities, in order that you may become an asset to your families and to your society. This means that we have to provide or give our best for the society. We have to give our best in everything that we do. That is one of our duty, of your duty as a student. Okay? Second is to uphold the academic integrity of the school. Endeavor to achieve academic excellence and abide by the school rules and regulations governing your academic responsibilities and moral integrity. So it means, therefore, that you have to guard the integrity of the school, meaning you should not do anything that would put the school into shame. Instead, you should always uphold academic excellence, and also follow the school rules and regulations governing academic responsibilities and moral integrity. Okay? So, of course, we should not want a student from MMSU that is being highlighted by social media doing something not good, right? So, we should always uphold academic integrity. Okay? Next is to promote and maintain peace and tranquility of the school by observing school rules and discipline and by exerting efforts toward the attainment of harmonious relationships with fellow students, faculty, and other personnel. Fourth duty is to participate actively in civic affairs in the promotion of the general welfare, such as the social, economic, and cultural development of the community toward the attainment of a just, compassionate, and orderly society. So who among you are members of SK? So if you are a member of a civic organization, sometimes you have activities that actually promote the social, economic, and cultural development of your own community. Like the pre-pandemic times, you have your, you usually conduct a basketball tournament among SK members, right? Other sports tournaments such as basketball, what else? Siguro table tennis or badminton, activities such as those promote cultural development of the community. And then you also have to exercise your rights responsibly with the knowledge that you are answerable for any infringement or violation of the general welfare or the rights of others. This means that it doesn't mean to say that you have your right and you abuse your rights. No, you should always exercise your rights responsibly. You should be very responsible in exercising your right. Yung lagi naming sinasabi that your right ends where the rights of others begin. Always and always remember that. Okay, now we move on to the laws that promote the welfare of students in particular. These are just enumeration of some of the laws that promote your welfare and improvement. Okay, Republic Act 6728, or the Government Assistance to Students and Teachers in Private Education Act, gives free tuition fee for students, also textbook assistance, and expansion of the existing education service contracting scheme, the voucher system of the private education student financial assistance program. We also have, under this law, scholarship grants and allowances for you, my dear graduating students, as valedictorian, salutatorian, and first honorable mentions from secondary schools. We also have tuition fee supplements to students in private colleges and universities, and of course, the Education Loan Fund, which is the Study Now, Pay Later. Also, we have Republic Act 6014, or an act creating the Students' Loan Fund Authority, prescribing its powers, functions, and duties, and authority, the appropriate fund reform, or the Students' Loan Fund Authority. So what are the goals of this? First is to establish and adopt a program of generating funds for educational loans and scholarship grant in aid to students who qualify under the provisions of this act. Next, to encourage and coordinate the grant of scholarship grant in aid to deserving students by private and public agencies, and to implement or to plan and implement a program of financing the education of needy and deserving students. We also have the Republic Act number 6655, or the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988. This law supports the implementation of the free public secondary education for students enrolled in secondary courses in the national high schools, state colleges and universities, specialized schools, trade, technical, vocational, fishery, and agricultural schools. Now, however, Section 6 of this law states that the right of every student to avail of free public high school shall terminate or shall end if he or she fails for 2 consecutive years in the majority of the academic subjects in which he is enrolled during the course of his or her study, unless such failure is due to some valid cause. O kung na-fail ka because of non-attendance or hindi ka na pumapasok because you have an illness, then that could be a valid cause. Pero if you fail because you just did not enter you did not go to school because of any reason aside from contracting an illness, that is an invalid reason. Okay? We also have the Child and Youth Welfare Code that promotes the laws on the right of student. One of these is the Presidential Decree number 603, or the Child and Youth Welfare Code. In Article 71 of this law, it states that no child is refused admission in public schools, and all parents are required to enroll their children in schools to complete at least an elementary education. So if you enroll in a public school, then you should be admitted by all means. If your requirements suffice the requirement of the school you want to enroll into. Okay? Article 72, or the compulsory education policy, assistance shall be given to parents, especially the indigent ones or those who need the services of children at home. Assistance may be in the form of special school programs, which may not require continuous attendance in school or access to elementary education. So, ito yung mga alternative learning system na sinasabi natin, those students who cannot come to school because of many reasons. Okay? Article 59, the criminal liability shall attach to any parent who first fails or refuses without justifiable ground to enroll the child as required by Article 72. So, there are parents kasi, I'm not sure if there are still parents that do not want their children to go to school. Instead, they want their children to help them in the farm or in whatever kind of livelihood their parents are into. So that's a ground for criminal liability to any parent. Okay? Another ground for criminal liability ng parents is if they cause, abate, or permit the truancy of the child from school where he is enrolled. Truancy refers to absence without cause for more than 20 school days, not necessarily consecutive. So, pwedeng staggered yung absent niya. Every week, may absent siyang 2, or every month, may absent siyang 3. So, pag cumulative yon at 20, more than 20 absences na yung child, and these absences are being permitted or it is because the parents want this child to be absent to school, then the parent could be held criminally liable. Now, it is the duty of the teacher in charge to report to the parents the absence of the child in the moment they exceed 5 school days. Kasi baka your parents would not know that you do not go to school or you do not attend online classes. Right? So it is the duty of the teacher to inform your parents of your absences if they exceed already 5 school days. It may not be necessarily consecutive. Okay? Article 101. All student organizations in public or private schools shall include in their objectives the acculturation of harmonious relations among your members and with various segments of the community. Okay? And then Republic Act number 7784, this is an act to strengthen the teacher education in the Philippines by establishing Center of Excellence, creating a Teacher Education Council for the purposes, appropriating therefore, and for other purposes. Okay? Section 5 of this law states the creation of the Teacher Education Council, the purpose of which is to adopt an adequate and effective system of incentives such as scholarship grants, loan programs, subsidies, students, and other similar benefits and incentives. Okay? The Higher Education Act of 1994 establishes or supports the creation of the Commission on Higher Education, or CHED, whose coverage shall be both public and private institutions of higher education, as well as degree-granting programs in all post-secondary educational institutions, both in the public and private sector. So we also have Republic Act 7796, or the TESDA Act of 1994. It also supports the creation of the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, primarily responsible for formulating, continuing, coordinated, and fully integrated technical education and skills development policies, plans, and programs. Okay? And then I think this is the last of the laws that promotes the scholarship or that promotes your rights as a student. Republic Act 7682, or the Dual Training System Act of 1994. This is to enhance the employability and productivity of graduates by equipping them analytic and creative thinking and problem-solving abilities, manipulative competencies which meet occupational standard and requirements, values and attitudes with emphasis on work ethics, quality orientation, discipline, honesty, self-reliance, and patriotism. And this dual training system is actually an institutional delivery system of technical and vocational. So educational and training that combines in-plant training and in-school partners share the responsibility of providing the trainee with the best possible job qualifications. Ito yung tinatawag natin na OJT. This law supports yung OJT that is usually one of the requirements for graduation among those in the tertiary level. So almost majority of our courses in the tertiary level requires an OJT that will help develop or enhance the skills of students for them to, be ready when they are in the real world when they will be at work. So that is the Dual Training System Act of 1994. Okay? And then we have the Republic Act 7662, the Legal Education Act of 1993. So this pertains naman to the support on the proper selection of law students, maintaining quality among law schools, requiring legal apprenticeship and continuing legal education, and the creation of the Legal Education Board to oversee the implementation of its provisions. This Republic Act 7687 is known as the Science and Technology Scholarship Act of 1994. So the purpose of this is to strengthen science and technology manpower by creating a pool of scientists, engineers, and technicians who shall fill the need for industrialization. So there are scholarship grants by the Department of Science and Technology starting from high school up to postgraduate levels. So this act will support those programs of the Department of Science and Technology. So this Science and Technology Scholarship Act of 1994 provides scholarships to poor but talented and deserving students. Deserving students this actually scholarship may include tuition and other school fees, outright grant to prescribed textbook and essential school supplies, outright to prescribed military science and physical education uniform, transportation expenses, and monthly living allowance. However, you can only have these scholarships, for instance, in high school, the DSD scholarship program, you can only avail of that if you pass their screening test or screening criteria. So you have to pass their screening criteria, meaning you have to fulfill the requirement, your grade requirement, and also the exam grade requirement. Okay, if you will be in, or if you pass these requirements, then you will be granted free education plus tuition plus allowances plus free textbook and all other necessities needed for you to graduate in your high school. Even you also have your book allowance, your meal allowance, and all that. So it's good if you pass this kind of scholarship program. So that will be all for the rights of students. If you have any question, you can type in your question in the comment section and we may get back to you sooner. Okay? Good day, everyone.